everyone. I'm going to be doing a video on hypothyroidism. I have this condition and I've been living with it for 12 years now. Yeah, about 11 to 12 years. And I'm going to talk to you about it, why it's a problem, why it's more than not being able to lose weight or difficulty losing weight. So hypothyroidism, if you see me looking over here, I have everything written down. That way I don't forget anything, and everything's written in order, and I explain it to you as best as I can. So hypothyroidism is an autoimmune disorder that causes your immune system to attack your thyroid gland. Your thyroid gland is a gland. It's a butterfly-shaped gland located in your throat, right in front of your voice box, that is basically responsible for controlling your body's metabolism and controlling your body's mental and physical functions. And it produces two hormones, triiodothyronine, or T3, and thyroxine, known as T4. And if you have hypothyroidism, you are given these. I have to take levothyroxine, which is the artificial version of thyroxine, and they are a tiny little tablet, really small. I have to take these every morning before I eat anything, so as soon as I wake up. Roughly, they do work better if you take them roughly at the same time as well, and I will talk more about these in a second. But the symptoms of it are tiredness, cold sensitivity. I don't mean, it's cold outside and you're cold. I mean, it could be summertime and you're freezing. Weight gain, depression, muscle aches, spasms, extremely dry skin and extremely dry hair. I don't have dry skin or dry hair naturally, but if I don't take my medication, whether if I forget about it or there was a time that I refused to take the thyroid gland hormone because I refused to acknowledge that I was sick, my hair became very, very, very dry and my skin became really dry and I was cold no matter what. So when it comes to what's funny about the symptoms is that it's also a cause as well. The thyroid gland makes this happen. So, and the symptoms aren't special. Every other symptom, it could be mistaken for something else, and that's what makes it really hard to diagnose, and there's problems with that that I'll get into in a second. But there's no cure. There's only treatment. Doesn't matter what treatment you have. It can be managed, but you can't cure it. Only can you take this, and you will be on that for the rest of your life. I can't not take it. If you don't receive treatment, whether you go undiagnosed, you're not given the correct microgram. Right now I'm on 50. You can be tripled, you can be doubled, you can take less. You can develop heart problems such as heart disease and high blood pressure. You can develop what's known as a goiter, which is a swelling in the neck where your thyroid gland is. It can be very small, kind of like an Adam's apple, but then it can grow and grow and grow and grow, and it can cause coughing, tightness. It can change your voice. It can cause difficulty swallowing and difficulty breathing. You can make a very high-pitched noise when you breathe as well. It kind of, if you've ever met someone with asthma or a respiratory disease and they breathe very heavily, that's what it can be mistaken for. But if you see a very big lump on their neck, then it's goiter. And then if you don't take it at all, you can go through what is known as a myxoedema coma, or myxoedema coma, I think that's how you pronounce it. But it's a life-threatening condition, and this occurs when you either don't take your thyroid hormone at all, you are given too low of a dose, or you go undiagnosed. And as I said earlier, the symptoms are not special. There are other symptoms that have tiredness, cold, weight gain, depression, muscle aches. It doesn't automatically point to thyroidism. But what can happen is you can become confused, you can become drowsy, you can develop hypothermia, which is when your body becomes too low, and you go straight into a coma. And what happens is where you need to be taken to the hospital immediately. They inject you with levothyroxine and sometimes T3 as well, straight into your veins. You need to be put on breast support. You need to be given steroid medication to help with any inflammation within the body. And if you are not given treatment immediately, you will never wake up from it. What it is, my body, whatever food I eat, it does not convert into energy for me. I need to take the thyroid for it. So think of, I don't take the thyroid gland hormone, and I don't have any energy. So my body will shut down, and in order to preserve energy to keep my organs alive. So it will think, you sitting, talking, walking is not keeping you alive. We need to cut all energy supplies to that in order to preserve the energy to keep your organs alive. And that's what happens. It's very similar to type 1 diabetes, where many people, they go undiagnosed and they go through a diabetic ketoacidosis, which is a coma that they suffer from because they don't have enough energy. So their body makes them go into a coma so that their body can preserve the energy it takes for them to speak and sit and walk, in order to use that energy to keep their bodies alive, to keep their organs going. And that can happen for many people who've been walking around not being diagnosed with diabetes. So they're kind of similar in that perspective. Granted, the coma is very, very, very rare, but it can still happen. And there were times where if I didn't take my thyroid medication, I would sleep for quite a long time. I would be cold a lot, and I don't suffer from the cold. So, I wouldn't, you just keep taking it. It can be really frustrating, and it can feel like it doesn't help you, but it does. For managing it, you do need to be on a diet. I'm not on a diet. Never have been on a diet for this. And I'm looking to see a dietitian because during my research, I found a few problems with my current diet and what the diet they recommend for hypothyroidism, but I've written some information down. Some good nutrients in a diet are iodine. Iodine is essential because people who weren't born with hypothyroidism, if their bodies don't contain iodine or they suffer from iodine deficiency, this can cause hypothyroidism to actually flare up. That's what happened to my grandfather. I was born with it and he developed it. Iodine can be found in fish, seaweed, dairy. You can also be given a supplement as well. Selenium is another good nutrient. It actually helps activate your thyroid hormone, and it can be found in nuts, legumes. Legumes are like beans and things like that. Chickpeas, they are legumes. Lentils. And then zinc helps the body regulate a hormone called TSH, and that tells the thyroid gland to release the thyroid hormone. Basically, it tells the thyroid to, okay, now it's time for you to release the hormones. And then the selenium will actually use it. So they work hand in hand, and you can find them in beef, shellfish, and chicken. bad things that you shouldn't take are goitrogens. Goitrogens are what can cause goiter, whenever I said earlier with the throat. They interfere with the thyroid gland. They stop the hormone from forming. They stop it from being used. And what you find this in soy. You find it in vegetables such as broccoli, kale, cauliflower, and spinach. You can find it in fruits such as strawberries, peaches. You can also find it in sweet potatoes, nuts, seeds, like peanuts and pine nuts. Even though peanuts aren't a seed, they are a legume. So that's weird. And then gluten. Gluten is a bad thing for us because it's linked with celiac disease, which is another autoimmune disorder. And if you suffer from one autoimmune disorder, you're very, very, very likely to develop another autoimmune disorder. And celiac disease is where the body attacks the small intestine. It attacks these little hairs called villi, and villi is what's responsible for you absorbing all of your nutrients, so your vitamins and your minerals. Every time you eat that, your body will attack the villi, making your stomach red and inflamed and destroying the villi. Once your villi is destroyed, you won't be able to absorb any nutrients, which means you could suffer from malnutrition even though you're eating healthy foods. You can't absorb them anymore. So if you suffer from that, you're more likely to suffer from hypothyroidism as well, and they're linked together. And so people, if you have an autoimmune disorder but not celiac disease, many people will try and get you to at least lessen your gluten intake, that way you don't develop it. And a lot of people don't take that seriously. A lot of people, especially with the celiac, they think that, oh, it's just a stomach ache. No, you do a lot of damage, and you can actually get cancer in your bowels as well because your body's trying to get rid of it, basically. But with the diet, I have a vegan diet. It consists of soy meat and a lot of vegetables, consisting of broccoli, cauliflower, and spinach. And according to my research, I can't take those. So I'm going to have quite a struggle when I go and actually visit a dietitian, because they're going to be telling me I shouldn't eat soy. It's going to fuck up my thyroid. So we'll see. The final development of thyroidism is when you can develop, it's not 100% guarantee, but you can develop this. It is Hashimotos thyroiditis. This is similar to hypothyroidism. The only difference is in Hashimoto's, your thyroid gland is being destroyed, and this can cause lymph nodes in your throat, which are basically small tumors, and they can be cancerous, and then therefore you might have to have your thyroid gland removed. They don't recommend removing your thyroid gland unless absolutely necessary, because it's right above your windpipe, which means you might be able to, they might fuck up your voice, you might not be able to breathe properly, and you might die whenever you go under. So that this isn't, again, it's not 100%, but it is a possibility. What else? What else do you have? We suffer from pregnancy problems. We have trouble staying pregnant. You can get stillborn, miscarriages. The baby could be born with hypothyroidism. The baby could be born with severe learning difficulties, developmental difficulties, especially if the doctor doesn't give you the proper dosage. There's a lot of problems. But the reason why, to be more scientific, why it's hard for us to lose weight is because people with hypothyroidism have a lower body temperature than those who don't. And when it comes to burning calories, your body needs to be warm. Hence why exercise helps you burn more calories, because you're heating your body up. And so it makes us burn it slower. But not only that, we don't have any any energy to exercise anyway. So it can be a struggle, but it's not completely about weight. It's not just about not being able to lose it or not being able to keep it off. It's so much more than that. And even if you lose all of the weight, which I intend to do, I will still have these problems. I will still worry about goiter. I will still worry about whether, if I ever want to have children, I won't be able to have them without a problem. I won't be able to have them without worrying that they will go through it. I will always have, you know, the Hashimotos in the back of my mind. What will happen if it actually gets destroyed? So it's more than that. You know, and I can't skip my medication, and you know, that's the only thing I hear about anything when it comes to hypothyroidism, is that I can't lose weight, or I gain weight too quickly. No, there's so much more than that, and people aren't taking any autoimmune disorders seriously. There's not enough information on them, and there's not enough on how to treat them. You know, we're just given this, and that's it. We're not, you know, I wanted to do a video so that I can talk to you with my struggles, because after all the weight is gone, the thyroidism still going to be there. The problems are still going to be there. You know, I'm still going to be cold sensitive. I'm still going to have all these things. And so hopefully this video will educate you and help you. And if you have noticed anything, that you are gaining weight very, very quickly and you don't know why, or you are feeling depressed, or you know, you're getting, you know, sensitivity to the cold, get them to test you. Or even if you're the opposite and you have hyperthyroidism, where your body is too fast and you're losing too much weight, please get tested. You can get a blood test, and you go through a blood test every 6 months, sometimes even more, depending on the severity of your hypothyroidism or hyperthyroidism. Because it will save your life. It will prevent you from going through the coma, which, if you're not given immediate attention, you'll never wake up from it. You can, but they have to work very quickly. And whenever I refer to hypothyroidism later on in another video, then I can just refer to you to this one. Hopefully this video wasn't too long and it was informative, and if anybody has any other questions in the comments or wherever, I will be able to answer them, and I will be able to do a video on them. And I do plan on doing a video based off of a diet for hypothyroidism, even though I am on a vegan diet. So I will see you in my next video. Thank you for watching, and I will talk to you later. Bye!